You're listening to the PRO Media Network, the next level in entertainment.
Get ready. It's time for the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys. Telling you everything you need to know about the Saints, Pelicans, and a whole lot more.
Welcome. You're now rocking with the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guy. And we have intense, entertaining, educating, and enlightening sport talk from your favorite sports family. I'm Big Q. And I'd like to thank y'all for chiming in on podcast 244 on the Coma. That's right, 244 Sports Coma, as we breaking down the Saints news and notes of the day. The Saints making moves in the bye week. That's right, in the bye week, a well-earned bye week for our beloved New Orleans Saints, as they were able to do some terrific stuff on Monday night, take down the Washington Redskins, gain a bye, an early bye. We lose one of our best players on defense in Marcus Lattimore, but according to the early injury reports that we're receiving here at Coma, Lattimore is going to be fine and good to go coming up against Baltimore. So without further ado, let's get right on to the podcast 244 and to the rundown. And before we get into the rundown, I'd like to give all of our new listeners and established listeners a shout out. Thank y'all for joining us on the Sports Coma today. Thank you guys for all your contributions, support, sharing us in the Saints forums. Everywhere, all the love we're getting all across the globe, all across the plane, whatever you want to call it. We are continuing to grow and meet other like-minded Saints fans across the world, and it's good feeling to meet and talk to other Saints people who have the same love of the team that we have. So without further ado, let's get right into the show. Saints news and notes we'll cover on this particular show. This is not the preview show for the upcoming game against the Baltimore Ravens. This is merely just a bye week boil down, some news and the notes we're going to hit you with today. Here's some of the topics that we're going to talk about. I'll talk about the fact that the Saints are making some moves. Usual, we talk about some of the injuries that are occurring and Lattimore's concussion. We'll give you the latest on that. Saints bring a familiar defensive lineman back to the team. We'll talk about that. We'll give you the brief injury report that we have and break that down for you. Also, we'll have interviews on today's podcast with Cam Jordan. We'll also have Marcus Davenport, both of those defensive end bookends. We'll also have Drew Brees. One more again, we're going to hit you with Drew Brees' post-game thoughts on his fantastic night. We're going to play some of that again. We also going to talk about some trade rumors. You know, of course, the deadline is a couple of weeks from now, and there's many rumors spinning. In particular, we're talking about all-pro cornerback that's a little further out west. That's possibly people Saints could be looking at. An all-pro Hall of Fame cornerback that wears number 21 also said something about the Saints and this particular defensive back. We'll get into that more into the show. We'll have the Sports Coma question of the day, which we can hit you with that right now and let you ponder that. Should the Saints pursue this cornerback that we're speaking about? And if so, what should they give up for him? What should they give up to get him if that's the case? So we'll talk about that. Also, we'll have I'll read some of the replies from previous Sports Coma question of the day also on this show. So we got a stack billing today. Without further ado, let's climb right into it. Now, like I mentioned, the Saints, they lost cornerback Marshon Lattimore during the Washington Redskins game, and he did not return. It found out that he had a concussion. Obviously, we had some reports that showing that he'll be fine. He's doing well. He's recovering, and he could potentially play against the Ravens. That's some of the information that we are getting, that he could potentially play against Baltimore. Of course, once you get that concussion, you go into what they call the concussion protocol, and it takes some time. But good news for the Saints is it happened on a Monday night. Then the bye week came, and that's more than enough time for him to recover and be back on the field for Baltimore. So that's good news, and I expect Marshon Lattimore will be back in ready for that Baltimore game. He's listed currently as questionable. Also on we might as well hit the injury list. Only two of them we could talk about right now. And that other player is the questionable is Taylor Stallworth, the big defensive tackle. He's dealing with an ankle injury, according to the Times-Picayune, and he is listed as questionable as well. So questionable that the Saints decided to bring Jay Bromley back, the big defensive tackle, and one of my favorite football names on the team. He is back in effect for the team, Jay Bromley. Of course, the Saints, I don't know what corresponding move they'll make to add him to the 53-man roster. I don't know exactly what they're going to do, but we'll find out as the week progresses. So Jay Bromley is back on the team. Let's talk about how the Saints played this previous game in Washington. Of course, they laid it all on the field. Drew Brees' records, the defense got after the quarterback, Mark Ingram's return to the team, all that stuff we talked about on the previous podcast. It was just astounding how the Saints were able to react and be able to kick into high gear and do what they needed to do to basically wipe the floor with the Washington Redskins. The funny part about it is we spoke about in previous podcasts about the fact that the Saints, around the 5th and 6th game, you'll start to, well, actually I said around the 4th week, after the Saints go through what I call regular season, preseason, which, the funny part is they give them 4 preseason games. They play all 4 preseason games, but the funny part is the starters don't actually play any meaningful minutes until the first 2 games of the regular season. So it's like they have the first 2 weeks they look terrible, which they did. They were up and down. Then game 3, you started to see them come on. Game 4, they had a better performance. Then after the 4 preseason, regular season games, you see the Saints are in regular season mode. Now, right around the 5th or 6th week, we did say in previous podcasts that you'll start seeing some of the Saints rookies really take off. Traquan Smith had a stupendous game against Drew Brees. He was awesome. He was excellent. Then we talk about the fact that you have a player as good as Marcus Davenport has been. Well, he got a sack and then also hit the quarterback and forced the fumble. I mean, he's been terrific. He's been turning up as well for the Saints. So you see some of the core youthful pieces that are left on the team. Those guys are really stepping up and playing big for the team in the stretch. As the temperament for the Saints is, Drew Brees has 2 years left to play. Now, there was a report saying that Drew wanted to, even if he was to win a Super Bowl this year, he would still play an extra year. So obviously the timetable is set for 2 years. So the Saints are on notice. They have 2 years to get all the pieces in place, and they are in a 2-year window to win a Super Bowl, perhaps 2 Super Bowls, dare I say. You got a Hall of Fame quarterback breaking records all over the place. Why not get this guy a couple of more Super Bowls, before he gets up out of here, before we hand the reins over to Teddy Bridgewater? Because I really do think Teddy Bridgewater is the heir apparent, and I think Taysom Hill will be here, but he'll be more of a wildcat option. This is Teddy Bridgewater team. Let's get it straight. You don't give up a 3rd-round draft pick to bring a guy in to then let him walk in free agency. Teddy Bridgewater is definitely going to be Drew Brees' heir apparent, barring injury or them trading him out of here. So that's my thoughts on that. But the Saints were splendid, just totally great in this Washington game. Of course, like I said, we're not going to preview the Baltimore game. That'll come up in later on the week when we do a Baltimore Ravens breakdown, a preview later in the week. So be looking out for that. Well, let's get into the trade scenarios. The trade rumors that's on the horizon about an all-star cornerback by the name of Patrick Peterson. Of course, Patrick Peterson was a really good cornerback for the LSU Tigers when he was down here. And wouldn't it be awesome if the Saints were able to bring Peterson in? The question is, what are the Saints going to give up to get Patrick Peterson? What are they going to give up? Okay, remember, they gave up a pick, the 1st-round draft pick this year, and the 2019 1st-rounder to move up to get Davenport. They gave that to Green Bay. So they are without a 2019 1st-round draft pick. They gave the 2019 3rd-round pick to get Bridgewater. They also gave a 6th-round pick as well in that deal. So the Saints only have in 2019 their 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 7th-round picks. Now, of course, the Saints could package a 2nd-round pick from this year, perhaps a 3rd, to a 2nd and a 3rd, and a player. You guys named the player. I read a report saying they wanted to throw Ken Crawley in there with a 2nd-round pick. I would take that in a light speed and give him away. Of course, his contract is pretty feasible this year. Of course, it jumps to like $12 million or so going up. But listen, like we said, 2-year window with Drew Brees, right? The weakest spot on the team, without a shadow of doubt, is where? The secondary, right? Specifically the cornerback position. If that's the case, then you have to go all out. You've made the Saints traded draft picks to get players that can help them now. Look what they did. They stockpiled talent and picks from this year. Look what they did with the guys that they drafted. The 2 cornerbacks that they drafted, they cut them. The offensive lineman Rick Leonard, who's a 4th-round selection, they cut him. So obviously they're in the window. And, I had a talk with an offensive lineman, and he told me that if the Saints, if you can't help Sean Payton win now, then he's going to look past you. And look what he did, the draft picks that we drafted. Usually you would build your team around these guys. They're out of here for veteran players that can help the team now. So when it comes down to it, the weakest position on the team is the cornerback position opposite of Marshawn Lattimore. Peterson solves that problem. Not only does he solve that problem, he becomes the best cornerback on the team, and that's saying a lot, being that you got Lattimore. So he is in the prime of his career right now. The guy is an excellent cornerback. He has great size. It will make the Saints defense exponentially better, and I hope they pull the trigger on the deal. The only problem is, do the Saints have the guts to pull? Not the guts, I don't want to say they're gutless, but do they have the imagination? Do they have the will to get the deal done? Look what Chicago did by getting Khalil Mack. They gave up whatever they needed, whatever they had to do, whatever they had to give to get Khalil Mack there. They knew it was a good move. The Saints need to be thinking in that thing. If you thinking about life without Drew Brees, and you thinking about what? You thinking about a short window with Drew Brees, the weakest position you need going deep into the playoffs is Marcus. You put Patrick Peterson opposite of Lattimore. Man, could you imagine? But anyway, you guys, that's the Sports Coma question of the day, by the way, is do we trade for him? And of course, it's a resounding yes. And if we do trade for him, what should we give up? What is too much to give up for Patrick Peterson? What is too much? Is there such thing as too much to give up for him? And he's a star cornerback? Well, you let me know. Tell me in the comment section below. And remember, all people who answer the Sports Coma question today, replies are read on the next show. So y'all get to working on that. But anyway, we about to go into our first break. When we come back on the other side of Sports Coma, we'll get into the rest of our topics. So stick with us.
I'm a Saints and Pelicans fan, so the only podcast I can get my fix is the Sports Coma with Big Q. The guy's intense, funny, and they always keep it real.
Check out the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys.
What's up, sports world? It's Big Q talking at you from the PRO Media Network, letting you know that we're attempting to make things a lot simpler on our listeners and viewers of our mini podcast. So as a result, we're leasing down a lot of our shows to have their own channels for your convenience. Starting soon, shows like Ring King Boxing, LSU's Tough Tiger Talk, the Pelican Postgame Report will all have their own individual YouTube channels. So thank you for working with us during this process. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for commenting. Thank you for everything. Thank you for your donations and support for our platform as we continue to improve moving forward. Peace.
Sports fans are gearing up and saving big at Fanatics.com, the world's largest collection of officially licensed fan gear. From all the leagues, teams, and players you love, unique one-of-a-kind designs exclusively by Fanatics, and autographed collectibles from today's biggest stars shipped directly to your home. Join Fanatics Rewards for free to earn fan cash on every purchase. Shop now and for a limited time, get 20% off all orders. Fanatics.com, officially licensed everything.
Hit the link below and rep the black and gold today. Who that? Do you need a domain name? How about a host for your website that can work with WordPress? Try Namecheap.com. They make registering, hosting, and managing domain names for yourself or others easy and affordable because the internet needs people. Namecheap is an ICANN accredited domain register and technology company founded in 2000. It's one of the fastest growing American companies according to the 2018 Inc. 5000. Celebrating nearly 2 decades of providing unparalleled levels of service, security, and support. Namecheap has been steadfast in customer satisfaction with over 10 million domains under management. Namecheap is among the top domain registrars and web providers in the world. They offer a full selection of popular and unique domains along with fully featured hosting packages, SSL security certificates, WhoisGuard privacy protections, and more, all at the lowest prices in the industry. So if you need a domain name or hosting or anything else, think Namecheap.com. That's right, Namecheap.com. Check the description section below for link.
Follow the Sports Coma on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube.
You're listening to the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys on the PRO Media Network.
Welcome back to the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys. Cousin Steve's bringing us in. Before we get back to the rest of our discussion on Saints Talk, we got interviews coming up. We're going to play some interviews from Cam Jordan, Marcus Davenport, the bookends for the Saints defensive line. And let me tell you, the defensive line has been outstanding. Totally shutting down running games, doing everything. They really are the truth up front. Secondary need a little help. That's where Peterson comes in. But I don't want to get ahead of it too quick. You know, we got some time before this thing need to work its way out. So we'll see how it go. But anyway, Cam Jordan, Davenport, and Drew Brees was obviously the player of the week, the player of the game. And ultimately, if he keeps playing like this, Drew's going to collect his first league MVP. No doubt about it. He's not. He's definitely. There is no other guy that you can look at and say, well, Drew Brees' accomplishments, let alone what he's doing this year at the age that he's doing it, is you got to put him up there as a potential MVP. Anyway, before we get into the rest of our talk and then get into the replies and all this kind of stuff, let's play some interviews. Here's Drew Brees talking about his accomplishments at the end of the game.
Mean, it played out even greater than I ever could have imagined. I tried to rehearse the scenario in my mind this week just so I could, really focus on the game. But to then have the moment with Sean and Mr. Baker from the Hall of Fame and then my boys and my wife Brittany and my daughter Rylan, it was incredible. Yeah, so in Ted Ginn's absence, Traquan stepped in and did a magnificent job. Obviously he had two really big catches tonight for touchdowns. So credit to him and just the way that he's come along here in his rookie season, really made a ton of progress, and each and every week, especially within the last couple weeks, just feeling like, man, this kid can really help us, can really be a big part of our offense. Just need to continue to evolve. And we got some other pieces as well. We got Mark Ingram back. Cam Meredith is coming along, and so I feel like we've got a lot of weapons. I feel like we have a lot of ways to spread the ball around and be really productive. In true Peyton fashion, he always is very creative. But I spoke with Favre 2 weeks ago after the completion record, after we did that in Atlanta, and then I'd gotten a text from Peyton and Archie and Cooper, and spoke to Eli last week, and really got, I guess, best wishes from the whole family. So that was really classic. Yeah, I mean it's usually good news, right? It's hard for me to reflect too much right now, just because my career's not done. There are still goals to be accomplished. There's still challenges to be met, and so I'm still very focused on that. And yet, when something like this happens, and I can, there's so many people that are responsible for that can be a part of that. It makes me happy. It makes me proud, and it makes me extremely grateful for the opportunity to play this game, to have played it as long as I've been able to play it, to have wound up here in New Orleans, which you all know that story. So it's been an unbelievable journey, and I'm just so grateful.
That was Drew Brees breaking down a historic night, man. It was really nice seeing his family out there, all of his children. And I remember when Drew had one child, man. He had the one little boy. I remember when he won that Super Bowl ring in Miami. Confetti was falling, and his son was reaching for the confetti. That was one of those iconic same moments. And then you say, damn, I remember Drew had one child. He has, 5 children now? So Drew been really putting in work, man. Congratulations, Drew. Big ups. But anyway, let's go to our next interview. We got a pair of defensive linemen. Our best defensive lineman on the team, Cam Jordan. He's going to chime in. And, of course, right behind him, Marcus Davenport, the bookend, the future of the Saints defense. He's going to say some words. Hear those guys right now.
I'd like to say we were like 2-2 when we had the bye last year. Is that correct? Look at that memory. And so, now we're sitting at a better situation. So if we can keep it rolling as we did last year, we'll be in a great place. I can't speak on last year because it was last year. At the end of the day, I think, we're going to be a better team than we were last year. So that's what we're working towards now. working to be better than we were last week. We were working better than we were, the first week of the season. That being said, sitting at 4-1 after a bye week, we feel good. But when you have a team like the Panthers, when you have a team like Atlanta, it's too early in the season to think that anything's grasped or clasped or we're chasing beyond that. We're chasing our division. We're chasing our division front leader. I mean, I think the Rams are 6-0. That's something that we have to keep in mind. We do get to play them this year, I do believe, right? They got to come here. They come. Look at this memory. I've seen the schedule maybe once. I'm not a multiple weeks in advance type of guy. I know we have the Ravens this week, and that's exactly who we're going to focus on: Joe Flacco and Lamar Jackson. Maybe Teddy Bridgewater will emulate Lamar, which would be weird because didn't Lamar emulate Teddy? Whatever. Continue.
It felt like more put together. Of course, I was looking at things that I could have done better, but it was a nice step.
Does it feel like every week that you learn something new or there's another step that is out there to be taken?
Yeah, there's always another step. It's just more, I'm trying to, more complete game. I'm trying to keep on stacking them days and, increase as I go.
With having someone opposite of you like Cam, with in games, how have you seen that change matchups that you're able to get, and can you benefit from those? Have you seen benefits from that?
Well,
because he seems to get double teamed and triple teamed all the time.
Yeah, that's an easy answer. Of course, it's great to have someone on the other side, and it's great to have all my teammates on the inside. They create matchup problems and it allows me to go win. And yeah, that's it.
Now, Marcus, rest is important, obviously, but do you feel like it kind of interrupted the groove you were in a little bit?
No. Nah, my body might have been there, but my mind was here. I was still thinking of ways to get better, but I was really happy to be able to see my family, my teammates, and my son.
What were some of the ways you used to get better through the process of the first 5 games?
Just practicing, trying to just get better each day. It's not really a competition against them, it's against myself. And yeah, basically.
And that was the defensive bookends, Cam Jordan and Marcus Davenport chiming in on their thoughts on the team moving forward. Now, before we get back into the rest of our show, I like to take a brief moment to kind of do a little program breakdown for y'all, just to let you guys know that, of course, y'all guys probably heard the question about us niching down our shows and our content. Got a lot of content on this page, but to make it more simpler, we've broken it down. Now we have YouTube pages or YouTube channels for each one of our shows now. So if you want the Pelican post game report, that's for the Pelicans fans. There's a YouTube page where you can sign up, you can subscribe to that page, and you can get all the latest content, because real soon it will not be posted to this page. This page will be exclusively Saint content. So if you want that Pelican content, please subscribe to the Pelican Post Game Report channel. Also, if you're an LSU fan or a college fan, please go to the Tough Tiger Talk channel and subscribe. And the same thing for our boxing content, for Ring Kings Boxing. You go to the Ring Kings Boxing page, and all those links are in the comment section. They're also in the description section below, so feel free to go to those channels and please subscribe. That way you won't miss any content, because very soon that content, those shows, will not be on this page. This will be exclusively a Saints page about Saints news and notes. So if you want to follow the rest of those podcasts, please feel free to go to the description section below and find those channels and subscribe right away. So thank you very much. Even post those on your social media feed and let all the other people who are boxing fans or Pelicans fans or LSU fans know where the show is. So thank you for that. Getting right into it now. Played those interviews. Now we're going to come into the section of the show where we go into reading the comments from the previous shows. And of course, the question of the day from the previous show was, did Traquan Smith do enough to supplant Ted Ginn Jr. in the starting lineup against the Washington Redskins? Of course, he had a couple of touchdowns. He caught Drew's big-time touchdown catch. He caught Drew's record-breaking pass and then took it to the house 60-something odd yards. So Traquan Smith had a fantastic game in the absence of Ted Ginn Jr. And, of course, we talk about how Sean Payton and Ted Ginn have a love-hate relationship, how he benches him at points, because Ted Ginn does a lot of good, but then when Sean wants to use him on a special team, he usually botches things sometimes. And he sometimes runs the wrong routes. Sometimes he doesn't block as well as he's supposed to. And sometimes he just kind of gets in Sean Payton's doghouse. But Traquan Smith had an amazing game. So did Marcus Davenport, but we just talking about Traquan right now. Did he do enough to kind of surpass Ted Ginn Jr., as it were? Because I'm of the thought that they drafted him to replace him. I'm going to just be honest with you. But anyway, what the hell you think? Tell us what you think here. And we're going to read some of the comments from the previous section. And Sean D chiming in. What's up, Sean? He says, not yet. Peace. All right. Thank you, Sean. Appreciate that, buddy. Peace to you too, friend. John Gaulden, a new commenter, he chimed in and said, why not put them both out there? They can split time playing the slot and outside. Me personally, if I had to choose, it would be Traquan Smith. Thanks, John. Appreciate it, man. Thank you for chiming in. Tim Russ is in the building, our regular commentary person. He's breaking it down. He says it's time for Traquan Smith to start. He has more potential than Ginn. With Ginn, what you see is what you get. Some days he'll catch passes, some days he won't. He may not be as fast as Ginn, but shouldn't be a problem for Drew. Big ups to Tim. Thank you for chiming in, Tim. And absolutely right. That's been a knock on Ted Ginn for a long time, man, that he has blazing speed but poor hands. Remember those early years? Couldn't catch the ball down there in Miami. But later on in his career, I think when he got to Carolina, he really started to kind of focus on catching the ball more and kind of made a name as such. So you're right. I think if I had to pick a Saint to compare him to in our history, it'd be like Devery Henderson. He has a little bit better hands than Devery Henderson. Devery Henderson he had Jerry Rice speed. He was very fast. Problem with that dude is he couldn't catch. If he'd have put more time into catching the ball than he was anything else, he probably would have been one of the top receivers in Saints history. But thanks for the comment, Tim. Crass Force says all Trey need was the opportunity. He has deceptive long speed, is a good pass blocker. I think it will be interesting to see what coach does draw up more plays specifically designed for Trey going forward. The Saints have multiple weapons on offense, and now that Ingram is back, we're a much more balanced offense. Saints could have easily slung 50 on the Redskins. This team looks really good right now. I'm more impressed with the D-line. Rankins, David Cam, Oak, and Davenport. Alex Smith lost all his confidence as he was sacked by their beast of a man named Davenport. Hopefully Lattimore gets healthy and stalwart. His looked more serious. Great effort all around. I think we tear up a Flacco in 2 weeks. Congrats to the great Drew Brees. Just a magical win in the dome. Big ups, Crash, for a very good commentary, brother. I agree with you wholeheartedly. Those guys are really coming alive and right at the right time. Lance Kelly chimed in. He said he did enough to get more targets, though. And that's Lance Kelly. Thank you, Lance. Jeff Champagne's in the building. What's up, Jeff? How you doing, buddy? Absolutely, yes. I feel he went above and beyond what he was actually needed to be. 3 targets, 3 receptions, 2 touchdowns. How much more you want? He's going to be something special with more time under his belt. On all targets, he seemed to be open by 10 plus yards. If you look at the big picture on how we use Ginn, Smith is right on pace with Ginn's play style and the offense of use of him. I actually feel we can use Smith in many more different schemes than just the deep ball, as it seems we only use Ginn for. I love Ginn as a player, but I wouldn't be upset if Smith took over the number 2 spot. Thank you, Jeff. Appreciate the comment, man. Very real commentary as usual from Jeff. I agree with you wholeheartedly. That's that consistency thing. We talked about Ted Ginn does have speed. Traquan Smith is fast. Ginn has world-class speed, but sometimes he does miss blocks. He's not a perfect option. Like I said, I just think Traquan Smith, we knew Sean Payton drafted Traquan Smith to ultimately replace Ted Ginn Jr., no doubt about it. Wouldn't be surprised if they traded him by the trade deadline. That's just me saying. And that, I don't think they will, but I wouldn't be surprised if they do. But look how they're using Austin Carr too. Think about that too. Traquan Smith and Austin Carr. Austin Carr getting a lot of snaps, deceptively getting these deceptive snaps. A lot of people not paying attention to how the Saints are using them. They really like Austin Carr. Thanks, Jeff. Josh Welling, how you doing, Josh? He's saying, honestly, we think the Saints are on the right track with the defense. The Saints had a breakout party. Davenport, man, that man's going to be a beast. I was shocked at Jeff Hardy when Lattimore went out with an injury. I was like, man, it's going to hurt, but Hardy's a special team player, stepped up big, had an interception. I know Lattimore was proud of him in an interview. I remember Hardy saying Lattimore showed him praises when he did the right job in practice, but he was very critical of Hardy with technique. To see Hardy take advantage of an opportunity was very encouraging. Traquan Smith had a big game catching the record breaker. He didn't know that he caught the record breaker, dropping it in end zone. A security guard picked it up and gave it to the ref. And let's see, he says that gave it to the Hall of Fame president. Okay, yeah, that's very true, Josh. And Josh has a lot other to say, but Josh, absolutely right, man. Traquan Smith is an excellent talent, and big ups to Justin Hardy, by the way, too, because Justin Hardy was outstanding in this game too. Of course, I gave Justin Hardy a lot of slack because Justin Hardy ain't do squat outside of special teams to deserve any credit, but he had a really big interception. He has been learning from Lattimore. He's a converted wide receiver to cornerback, making a team because of special teams contributions, but he did do a fantastic thing. So big ups to Justin Hardy for that interception. Thanks, Jeff. Thanks, Josh, for chiming in, buddy. Thank you. We got Swebman coming in, a new commenter. Swebman, what's up, brother? Traquan Smith had a great game and stepped up big time, but I still think we prefer Ted Ginn top speed to keep defenses honest on the back end. However, Traquan has earned some more snaps and more targets. Those touchdowns were great, but his best catch was the toe drag on the sideline. That was so impressive about his night to me. If he has one or two more games when he's contributed with those type of catches, he needs to be on the field. I think Meredith is in the same boat. Just continue to contribute and give Brees more options, and don't worry about who's the starter per se. Just make plays when your number is called. Who that? True that. Who that to Swept, man. Big ups, big comment too. We did mention Cameron Meredith played well in this game too. Saints getting a lot of help from a lot of people. Bottom line. Dada Saints, number one, he said no just yet. Not just yet. Now, if we see he has a great game against the Ravens, then I will say yes. Okay, thank you. Dada says no, not yet. He's kind of apprehensive. He wants to stay with Ted again. Donald Woods Jr. says, what you guys think about the Patrick Peterson trade talks? I would love to see what happened. What about Marcus Davenport's performance? Who looked like the next freak. Javon Curse, he played similar to him. Justin Hardy killed him, man. He was on fire. Hey, big ups, Donald. Donald mentioned a couple of things in there. First of all, we talked about the Patrick Peterson thing. I would love that to happen. Marcus Davenport is definitely coming to his own. They're going to keep increasing his snaps. He just has to stay healthy. And, of course, Justin Hardy, man. Justin Hardy really had a solid game. I want to see if he can build on that consistently moving forward. We'll see. Thanks for commenting, Donald. We got a comment. Here go DJ Austin. What's up, DJ? He said, yes, though, I didn't see the game, saw the highlights of the game, but the way he proved that he could contribute to the offense, yes, he did. So DJ says, yes, give Traquan Smith an opportunity. And then Lance Kelly says, no, not in my opinion. So Lance is not there yet. He wants to stick with Ted Ginn Jr. So first of all, I'd like to thank all of our commenters for commenting today on the show. Thank you, guys. And remember, the Sports Coma question of the day for today is, should the Saints pursue Patrick Peterson? And if so, what should they give up to get him? What should they give up? That's a two-pronged question. Should we pursue him? And what do we give up to get him? That's really a big thing, because a couple weeks before the trade deadline, Saints need to make a move. Patrick Peterson sitting out there. You won't find a guy like that on the free agent market that you're going to get at that price for this year. So you're going to just end up wasting the picks anyway. You're not going to get a guy in the second round next year that's going to help you contribute like a Patrick Peterson would. So if you can give up a second or a third, whatever you got to do to get the guy in here. Remember, you only have a 2-year window with Drew Brees, and you got to sell out to the idea to get elite talent on the team. So that's my thoughts. But anyway, thank you guys for commenting, all the Saints family, all the established listeners and viewers, and also the new guys and new people chiming in as well. Welcome to the show. Subscribe, comment, share as usual. So thank you guys for chiming in with us tonight on the Sports Coma. As always, if you enjoyed the show, please feel free to go to our Patreon page at patreon.com/PRO Media Network. Make a donation, contribute on a monthly basis or one time as we continue to build a platform for hardcore, fanatic Saints fans like yourself. Have a voice, a way to be able to speak about our great Saints clubs. Also, feel free to subscribe to all our social media pages. The links in the description section below. From me and the crew here at the Sports Coma, thank you for joining us tonight. Peace.
Forget ESPN or Fox. Get straight sports talk from the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys.
Thank you for listening to the Pro Media Network, who provides hours and hours of free edutainment to you and yours. If you are benefiting positively from our content, please donate to help us grow our platform by going to www.patreon.com/the Pro Media Network. That's www.patreon.com/the Pro Media Network, and support the true independent artists.
Tea is your escape. It's your opportunity to create a moment for stillness, for reflection, for yourself. It's your connection to a world of senses, flavors both exotic and familiar, energizing and relaxing. It's your retreat from an increasingly turbulent world. It's the perfect paradox of simplicity and complexity. Teabox.com connects tea to people, uniting the richest flavors of the finest teas with the curious, the cultivated, and the adventurous all over the world. The freshest tea you've ever tasted, from crop to cup. There's simply no simpler way to experience the wonderful complexity of tea. Teabox, packing up the freshness. Tea thrives on freshness, and so do they. Teabox temperature and humidity control facility ensure that tea is maintained. The teas themselves go into oblique bags with aluminum layers that protect them from excess moisture and light. With Teabox, shopping for fresh, loose leaf tea is easy because you make an informed purchase. You know exactly where your tea is coming from. So for the freshest teas in the world, check out Teabox.com. That's right, Teabox.com. Check the link in the description section below.
Vapor DNA is the absolute premier online vape store, offering an industry-leading selection of e-cigarettes, e-liquids, and accessories. Our friendly and knowledgeable customer service team is always ready to provide the best customer service experience to ensure you find what you're looking for. We guarantee our vaping gear shop products to be 100% genuine and the lowest price. We are so confident in our selection and our customer service. We will offer our customers a 45-day refund policy. That's right, a 45-day refund policy. We are proud of this offer for three simple reasons: quality, selection, and price. And that is the reason you should choose Vapor DNA for all your vaping needs. That's www.vapordna.com. Again, that's www.vapordna.com.
Go to newfrog.com for all of your electronic gadget needs. Fast becoming #1 online seller of cell phone and accessories, consumer electronics, automobiles and motorcycles, home and garden items, 5D diamond painting crafts, electrical and tool supplies, computer and networking supplies, lights and lighting supplies, sports and travel items, toys and hobby supplies, apparel and accessory, mother and kid items, health and beauty items, and much, much more. Newfrog.com has up to 70% off on some products. And you can check out their weekly promotions for all the best deals. Remember, when thinking online electronics and gadgets, think New Frog. Newfrog.com. Check the link in the description section below.
In today's world, children are bombarded with negativity on television, online, and at school. Our kids need to have a positive outlook on life and the world around them. I want to share with you a valuable resource you can use to bring positivity into your child's life. It's the new book, 101 Powerful Children Affirmations, a guide to positive child self-image, from author and dad, G.J. Barabino. This is a simple guide loaded with wonderful and inspirational affirmations designed to uplift young people's spirits. This positive and powerful children affirmational is chock full and loaded with wonderful inspirational sayings that will lift your child's self-image to whole new levels through the awesome power of spoken word. 101 Powerful Children Affirmations, a guide to positive child self-image, from author and dad G.J. Barabino. Available on Amazon. Order a copy for yourself, your child's teachers, or anyone you know with children. 101 Powerful Children Affirmations, a guide to positive child self-image. Order your copy today.
What's up, sports world? The PRO Media Network is on a mission to reach 10,000 subscribers. So besides our regular programs like the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys, the Pelican Post Game Report, Rapid Fire TSC, and others. We will be expanding out and offering other content like movie, anime, and gaming reviews for your entertainment. So if you enjoy our content, please donate at our Patreon page. Also subscribe, comment, and share. And help the PRO Media Network reach 10,000 subs. Peace.